to the Moonhigh podcast. Our names are to be determined as because of last episode. I'm the host. This is my guest, who is also my sister. Uh, so we are going to be talking about Wings of Fire now. But never fear, we will also be talking about Warrior Cats. But this new era is just about how we can expand. We're expanding. We're talking about more books and different series. We might even talk about Harry Potter a little bit and Percy Jackson maybe. But for now, it's just Wings of Fire. Because a bunch of the lovely series are awesome, and we feel like talking about more than just Warrior Cats, even though it is also awesome. Anyway, on to the Lost Heir, which is the second book of Wings of Fire. That's what we're talking about today. The summary, awesome. So, any things you would like to say before we begin? Okay, well, I have some things to say. The notes on here say, I found a much more detailed version on the wiki. The last book didn't have it, and I tried to find The Lost Heir on the previous website, but it said I had to sign up, which I didn't want to do.
Talking about? Are you talking about like a summary or something?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
I just searched for it on the wiki.
Okay, about that.
And then the second thing says, also I would like to clarify something I noticed from the last video. Burn is allied with the Skywings and has the support of most of the Sandwings. Blaze is allied with Glacier and a small amount of Sandwings who Blaze lives with in a fortress on the edge of Icewing territory. Blister is allied with the Sea Wings and some Sandwings. But also, did you hear the part that where I said that this would be a much more detailed version? So it's probably going to be longer. Yeah, that sucks.
Alright, well, let's jump
Okay,
into it then.
yes. Begin right now. Prologue. The prologue began the day after the Dragonettes escaped the Skywings, with the focus centered on Webbs as he emerged from a river. He was suddenly made aware that he was surrounded by 7 members of the Talons of Peace, 3 of the dragons being Nautilus, a male Seawing and the leader of the Talons, Cirrus, a male Icewing, and Crocodile, a female Mudwing. After Webbs informed them of what befell the Dragonettes, they conversed amongst themselves with Webbs still there. He heard about the backup plan, although they never clarified what that really was. Then, on Nautilus's orders, Cirrus said that he was going to rip Webb's heart out and feed it to the fish, which Webbs found ironic, considering he had just eaten a fish. However, Crocodile knocked the 2 unconscious, thus letting him go unscathed. As Webbs flew away, Crocodile caught up with him and encouraged him to go back to the Kingdom of the Sea. She described... Wait, where did I go? She described Queen Coral as a good queen and claimed the Seawing Queen was in a good mood. After saying goodbye to the Mudwing...
I have a question. Do the sea wings live in the water?
Yeah, they live under the sea, but they have like 2 separate palaces. One's called the Deep Palace, and it's underneath the water, and the one's called the Summer Palace, and you have to go through a little bit of a water passage with several air pockets to get to the Summer Palace, and that's just for like allies and non.
If the other dragons were to try to get there, can they also breathe underwater?
They can't go to the Deep Palace if they're not a Sea Wing, but they can go to the Summer Palace, which is the one on the land. But they never mind. I'm not going to spoil it. Anyway. Yeah. I was about to talk about some stuff that happens in this book before we get there. So let's not do that.
Okay. But if they other ones would die if they tried to go to the deep.
Yeah, maybe not a Mudwing, but they'd have to get there really fast and then go be there for 2 seconds and then leave, because they can only hold their breath for an hour, for an hour. And Sea Wings can hold their breath infinitely. Actually, they don't hold their breath; they can breathe underwater.
But they can also
breathe on land. Yes.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay. Interesting. What's the point of having wings, though? If they're underwater, do they swim with wings?
Yeah.
Do they use their arms to swim, or do they use their wings?
Their wings help underneath the water, but they also fly.
When they're
on the land. Yeah. Because the Sea Wings can go in the water and on land, but they like the land the best. Or no, the sea the best. And just like with Night Wings, how Night Wings like being in
Do
the night
they?
with it.
Is their tails like mermaid
Oh,
tails?
actually, their tails are like very big and thick, and they can smack the water with their tail and send out waves everywhere, and that's really cool.
Like a
Yeah,
whale?
but they're not mermaids though. But that was
Okay.
really cool. I was reading the descriptions on them earlier, and I like actually paid attention to what their tails looked like. um, like rainwings have tails for swinging around on trees, and that's described them as prehensile tails, which I don't know what that means, but I googled it, and so it says that it's used for swinging. So yeah,
And those are what ones did you say had those tails? Swingy tails?
rainwings because they're in the rainforest and there's a bunch of trees
Oh,
everywhere that you can
yeah.
swing around
Okay.
and stuff.
That's weird to picture a dragon swinging from a tree.
It is. It's kind of like a monkey with their little curled tails.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're
But a
yeah,
dragon.
they're super
That's
strong,
weird. That's weird.
prehensile tails, and prehensile is like a body part used for swinging around.
Yeah. That's what possums have.
Oh, cool. That is awesome. Didn't know that. Okay,
I
so
think.
then
I
more
could be
like
wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw that's like a possum tail.
I thought they just curled a little bit. Curly.
Well, they can curl, but they like I think it would like automatically grab something if you touch it. Kind of. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
like they curl around your finger. I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Possum tails do. Anyway,
It's like they have muscles in them that they could use to curl around things if
okay,
they wanted
back to the story.
to. I'm sorry.
After saying goodbye to the Mudwing, Webbs decided to return home and to ask Coral to forgive him. Part 1: The Edge of the Ocean. The story started with Tsunami standing on a beach with her friends behind her.
Oh, I thought you said the story started with a tsunami. I was
No,
like, oh
Tsunami
no.
is the dragon that this is
Okay,
the
yeah,
point of
gotcha.
view of.
That's a name. That's
Yeah,
a
that's her
name.
name.
Right. Okay.
Um,
Continue.
anyway, throughout this notes, I had to go and correct it, saying because it kept saying the tsunami or a tsunami, and it was really funny. But yeah, her name is Tsunami, and that is
Okay.
cool.
Pretty
Yeah.
cool name. Yeah.
The story started with Tsunami standing on a beach with her friends behind her. Starflight attempted to order the others back under the trees as he was worried they would be spotted by a Skywing patrol, but no one listened to him. He reminded them of the dragons that were searching for them after Glory possibly killed Scarlet and they escaped from the Skywing Palace. Yeah, they don't know if Scarlet is alive or not at this point in the story. Um, like, Glory shot her venom at the side of Queen Scarlet's face, and everyone like erupted into yelling, and there was chaos and everything in the battle arena of the Skywings.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so then they fled from then and immediately, and um, they never found out if Queen Scarlet survived. Um, so yeah. Anyway, Clay began to complain about the tiny fish in the shallow water instead of the big ones, while Tsunami and Starflight started arguing. Sunny reacted by asking Clay to intervene. Glory then teases Clay about him being a bigwings. Clay explains that a
Being a what?
bigwings, which that term was used in the Mudwing Kingdom from the last book. Like they didn't really go into detail. They just said that the families weren't exactly as he expected. So it was very non-detailed, and you need details for this book. This series, lots of details.
So I can take that to mean that it's an insult then.
No, it's not an insult. It's a term. Like their big wings is like the leader of their troop, and the troops are like sibling groups, um like a bunch of eggs that are born together, and whenever the big wings hatches, they're the first one to hatch, and they like try to break out all of they help their siblings get out of their eggs faster, and then the big wings is the like leader of the troop, because that's how their fighting style works. They're just like they train and they fly around together, and they train together, they fly around together, they basically do everything together as siblings, and that's their fighting troops for the war. So yeah.
Big wings.
Yeah, Big Wings is the leader.
So that's a person's name.
No, that's just a
I
term.
don't get
That's
it.
just a term. Like,
Okay, so big wings equals
yeah.
leader. Okay, got it. I think.
Gloria then teases.
That sounds like an
Yeah, it
insult,
does.
like you stupid big wings.
Yeah. Um, but not really. No. Oh, and
Okay.
also there was this thing called an unsib, which means that it's a group of siblings that lost too many siblings in battle that they have to find, like, if there's like two of them left, they can't have a troop with only two dragons, so they have to find a group of dragons that are also missing siblings, and then hopefully make a sibling group out of them. But
So did they just go to the sibling groups to like train and stuff, or is that what you said?
yeah, that's like their battle group. They do everything together, and that their bond is the most
Okay.
important thing. Yeah.
So how many is like the minimum that they can have?
Um. Well, I don't know. It's just really. I imagine less than four would be the minimum. Like, you
Okay,
can't have four is the minimum, I think.
gotcha.
Um. Yeah.
All right, go.
So,
I just had a lot of questions there for a
well,
second.
it never really told us the minimum. That's just kind of what I assumed. Like, I feel like four is like enough dragons, and three is too little in my mind.
Yeah, yeah, makes
Mhm.
sense.
So anyway, Clay explained that they should get to the Sea Wings as fast as possible to be safe. Starflight then heard wing beats and started to panic. Tsunami was doubtful of the sounds of wing beats, not being able to hear them herself, and thought Starflight was overreacting. Then Sunny chimed in and said that she heard them too and smelled smoke. Tsunami dove into the water upon seeing a patrol of skywings approaching. Sunny ran after Starflight while Clay encountered a mud shelf and Glory camouflaged with the sand. The skywings bolted past, but the last one stopped and looked around. Tsunami, thinking he saw uh, Tsunami, thinking she saw Sunny, attacked. What? Oh, Tsunami, thinking he saw Sunny like in the trees while she was hiding, attacked the dragon. Clay flew to Tsunami's aid soon after she attacked and helped drag the Skywing into the ocean. After the soldier passed out, Tsunami and Clay hauled him onto the beach. There, Clay attempted to revive him, much to Glory's displeasure. The others soon arrived and lectured Tsunami for attacking the soldier without needing to. Starflight then requested for Tsunami and Clay to go get a fallen tree, which they placed on the soldier's shoulders. They covered his eyes with leaves and began to fly inland, just in case, in quotation marks. As they left, Tsunami glanced over her shoulder for a long moment at the sea. She felt regret because of the dragonette's annoyance with her and that they started listening to Starflight. Because she always thought of herself as a leader, I guess. I don't know.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and she was regretting that the Dragonettes were annoyed with her. For 4 days later, Tsunami woke up on an island in the Bay of a Thousand Scales. She contemplated the recent events concerning Starflight. Then she jumped into the ocean. She fought the currents to the next island where she spotted a sea wing. She watched as he interacted with another sea wing. The second sea wing left then, and Tsunami caught up with the first one. He first seemed startled to see her. She pointed to the surface, and the sea wing swam away. Tsunami chased him and pinned him after he head slammed into a whale. The dragon flashed his stripes at Tsunami. Tsunami responded in kind, causing the dragon to look confused. Like, she tried to copy his stripes. I remember that from the book, but it didn't say that here. Um, she copied his scales, or like the stripe flashings, and then the the dragon was confused. She reached the surface, and the other sea wing followed momentarily and flashed his stripes again. Tsunami imitated him, and he lunged for her. Tsunami then attacked him and flew back to her friends. The sea wing followed her and asked what was wrong. Tsunami then told him that he attacked her, but he denied the accusation.
So tsunami is not a sea
She
wing.
is a sea wing.
Oh, okay. I was I was confused because her name definitely sounds like a sea wing, but it just seemed like it was weird that he didn't know her. Is it like a really big clan and
Oh,
none of them know each
none of the
other?
Dragonets of Prophecy have ever met their tribes, and their goal was to meet all of the queens, all of the potential Sandwing queens, so that they can properly choose one, for the prophecy, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
also to find each meet their family, and um, yeah,
Okay.
that is that.
So since she's part of that like special group, she hasn't met any of the Sea
No, she
Wings
has not.
until now.
No,
Okay.
but she's hoping that she's like a part of the royal family. Um, like that is her hopes, you know, because she kept reading The Missing Princess, and Starflight was like, "It's not gonna be like that. Don't get your hopes up." But yeah, that was funny. Anyway, uh, he then informed Tsunami that she said she liked him. He claimed that Tsunami said, quote, "Hey, Sparkling Teeth, I love 3 of your claws but not the others, and I wish your nose was a herring so I could eat it. And also your wings sound like sharks snoring."
Wait, did they like not speak the same language or
No!
something?
Tsunami burst out laughing in response. The Sea-Wing told her to leave because he thought that a Sea-Wing that does not know aquatic is not a Sea-Wing, and he attacked
Ah.
Clay, whom he had mistaken for an enemy. Tsunami then set him straight a few points after Sunny attempted to stop the Sea-Wing by telling them that the 5 of them were the Dragonets of Destiny. The Sea-Wing then revealed his name to be Riptide. He asked about
That's a
webs,
cool
and
name. That's
Tsunami...
a cool
Huh?
name. A cool
Yes,
name. I like that
yes.
name.
He asked about webs, and Tsunami told him a few things. He then offered to inform Queen Coral because he did not want to bring Tsunami's friends to the hidden summer palace. Tsunami refused, saying, "How would she feel if you told her you met her missing daughter and did not bring her to the palace?" In response, Riptide started to protest, but again, Tsunami insisted on going and bringing her friends. Riptide then placed seaweed on Clay and Sunny, serving as a blindfold. The 6 dragons then flew over the sea and towards the summer palace. They met Commander Shark, who turned out to be Tsunami's uncle and Queen Coral's brother, along with being the chief of defense. Tsunami acted defensively towards him, not believing he was very trustworthy. Shark ordered the soldiers to kill the dragonets and bring Tsunami to the palace. Tsunami knocked one soldier out of the air and told Shark to bring all 5 of them to the palace. They swam underwater for a long time, surfacing occasionally to breathe in a semi-aquatic tunnel entrance modified for Blister's rare visits. Take a breath. Yes. Ah, um, that was a lot. I don't like reading out loud. It's a lot for my vocal cords. Anyway, part 2, Into the Deep. As Tsunami emerged from the water, she noticed all the
How many parts are
3, and then there's an
there?
epilogue, but that's really short.
Epilogue. Okay,
Yes.
go. Part 2.
Yes. Into the Deep. As Tsunami emerged from the water, she noticed all the blue and green sea wings staring at her. She remembered the stripes on her wings that Riptide mentioned earlier and lit them up. She then tried an "I'm home" speech, but ended up embarrassing herself. Riptide led the dragonets to the top of the pavilion, a stone structure 12 stories tall. Riptide explained how each level had a different purpose. After they reached the top level, Riptide informed the dragonets that an animus sea-wing designed it by animating the stone to grow into its shape. Minutes later, Queen Coral arrived. Tsunami was thrilled to see her mother, but was shocked to see another dragonet with royal stripes on her wings with the queen. Riptide told Tsunami that the dragonet was her sister Anemone.
I'm from an anemone.
The Tsunami growled at Starflight and asked why he did not know about Anemone. He claimed that the scroll, the royal lineage of the Sea Wings from the Scorching to the present, was old and outdated. Glory noticed this and commented on the situation. Before Tsunami could even react, Queen Coral landed and embraced her, quoting the homecoming scene of The Missing Princess. Anemone complained that her claws hurt. Coral then explained to Anemone that Tsunami was the dragonet that she lost 6 years ago. Tsunami introduced herself, and Coral asked about webs. Coral noticed Clay and proceeded to shout at him, saying, "Why is there a mudwing in my summer palace?" Tsunami quickly explained by saying that Clay was her friend as a dragonet of destiny. Coral then ordered the guards to place the dragonets in Blister's cave with a guard, much to the dragonet's outrage. Coral told Tsunami that the other dragonets would be fine. Tsunami told Coral about how Webs never let her near the ocean or taught her aquatic. Outraged, Coral stated that she would execute him. Oh no! um, Coral gave Tsunami a strand of smooth white pearls, claiming that I have to start making up for all the gifts I missed giving you. Tsunami noticed dark stains on Coral's claws. Coral told her that they were the perils of my job. Well, my hobby, anyway. My art, you might call it. Coral then took Tsunami to the 8th level of the pavilion, the library. Coral introduced Tsunami to Whirlpool, claiming that he would make a fine king someday. Tsunami noticed Anemone quickly hide a hopeful expression and wondered how much the little dragonet could clear up. Coral explained that she loved to write and gave Tsunami 4 scrolls for her to read tonight. One of them was The Missing Princess, and Tsunami excitedly informed Coral how that scroll was her favorite. Really? Coral asked. I wrote it for you. Just then, a sea wing.
This feels too good to be true. I feel like she's definitely not the princess. Just because that happened too soon. Continue.
Okay.
Just wanted to say that.
I did too, whenever I was there. Okay, I was just like, this is a little weird.
Yeah.
Just then, a sea wing bearing a resemblance to Shark appeared. Coral identified her as Moray, Tsunami's cousin. Moray kissed up to the queen for a moment before explaining that there was a dead skywing a few islands from the Summer Palace. Coral immediately went to see the body with Shark, Moray, Tsunami, Anemone, and another dragon piranha.
Are these all names?
Yeah, they're all names.
Okay, because some of those are like fishes, and I'm
like
like,
piranha.
what? Yeah, I'm like,
and there was
moray and all that. Like those
shark.
are all fishes. So I was like picturing dragons swimming around with some fish, and I was like, that can't be right.
No, that's not. Those are the names of the ski wings. Sea wings. The sea wings.
Gotcha.
I don't know why I called them ski wings. I guess because I was looking at the description here, and I looked up at the spot that said that there was a dead skywing a few islands from the Summer Palace, and I thought of skywing while I was saying sea wing, and it turned into ski wing.
Okay. Alright, so those are all names.
Yes, all names.
Now,
anyway,
keep going.
When they reached the island, Tsunami was exhausted from swimming. She then looked down at the dead dragon. Shock quickly subsided to disbelief. The dead skywing was Kestrel, one of their old guardians. Someone had murdered her. And that was something that happened in the previous epilogue from the previous book. Like,
but they just hadn't found out about it
I'm
yet.
pretty sure Blister and Marasier killed Kestrel.
Not nice.
Yeah, not. Tsunami felt conflicted while flying back to the Summer Palace. She eventually decided to go see her friends tomorrow and tell them everything then. Coral returned from a war meeting with Anemone. 3 sea wings flew to a waterfall and swam under it, revealing an underwater bedroom. Tsunami collapsed into her bed and fell asleep. She woke up the next morning to find Anemone watching her.
So is anemone is that also that's also a dragon, but like didn't someone say that they lived in an anemone, or is that just from Nemo and I'm thinking about Nemo too
No
much?
one lives in an anemone. But you're thinking about Nemo.
Alright. Oops. Okay. That's just her name.
That's her name.
Nothing to do with anemones. What am I saying that
It's
wrong?
anemone.
Anemone. I'm like, I totally can't say it. I'm just like Nemo. Can't figure it out. Anyway, keep going. Onward.
Okay. Startled, Tsunami feared that Anemone was trying to kill her. However, Anemone signaled for her to be quiet, then tried to say something in aquatic, forgetting that Tsunami never learned to speak the language.
Okay, go on. Never learned to speak the language.
Anemone tried and remembered, frustrated. Tsunami inspected the harness, which she guesses grew with her. Anemone signaled Tsunami to follow her to the surface, which Tsunami was barely able. which Anemone was barely able to reach. She expressed her relief that Tsunami was home, claiming that maybe you can make her less crazy, or maybe she'll set me free now that she has you. About Coral. Oh.
Wait, who's crazy?
Anemone is saying that Coral is crazy for like keep.
So she's like keeping random dragons and hoping that one of them is the princess.
No. What happened was that Coral, like all of her eggs were being destroyed. All like all, and even though they were in the royal hatchery in the deep palace, perfectly protected, there always were guards and everything. And even though um the egg was always like it kept getting destroyed, so one time whenever she had an egg, Coral stayed in the deep palace every night with her egg,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the only way that it was able to hatch, was that she was always by its side. And then whenever Anemone was born, she had a harness made.
Okay, so that's like the daughter
Yeah.
of
So
Coral.
she had a
She's like just a super super duper protective
Yeah.
parent.
So whenever her daughter was born, she had a harness made so that they would always be attached to each other and nothing would ever happen to Anemone.
Like in Spyro.
Yeah, kind of like Spyro. But yeah, that was so like she never gets any personal space, and so obviously this had affected her. And at this point she was like 1 year old, Anemone was. Um that maybe you can make her less crazy, or maybe she'll set me free now that she has you, about Coral. Anemone claimed that she was happy she no longer had to marry Whirlpool, but Tsunami said no to the prospect of marrying that dragon. She also stated that she did not have the time to get married. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she described Whirlpool as smelly and annoying. And also, I'm pretty sure the only reason Coral likes Whirlpool is because he is a suck up, like, majorly.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and he tried to teach Tsunami Aquatic by reading it to her in Aquatic, and not really like saying what the things were, what the flashes were, and what they meant. And it
That makes
Yeah,
no
so he
sense.
was a horrible teacher. Um, anyway, Tsunami asked a few more questions, specifically about Orca, Coral's oldest and deceased daughter, which Anemone hurriedly answered so that the two sisters could return to their beds before Coral woke up. When the queen did awaken, she gave another strand of pearls to Tsunami, three purple and these purple and oddly shaped. The three of them had then headed to the council meeting on the sixth floor of the pavilion. Tsunami was given the pool marked Dragonette Care to sit in, as its occupant Tortoise was absent due to guarding the royal hatchery, which is like a horrible, horrible job because everyone is not good at that. Like no one. Well, it's not that they're not good at it. It's just that the egg keeps getting destroyed,
Hmm.
and so then um, the punishment for that is death. So every time they lose an egg, the caretaker dies. You know, so that is not good. After Tsunami embarrassed herself by eating before Coral's permission, Coral began to discuss rescuing Gil, the Sea Wing King. Unknown by the council or the queen, he was killed by Tsunami in the Skywing Arena. Yeah, he, yeah, he is Tsunami's father, and he was captured by the Skywings, and he was like deprived of water for months, and um, so basically he was just like a rabid killing machine, and so
Oh.
she was forced to kill him to survive, you know.
Wow.
So high stakes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, he probably wasn't rabid. He was just like a killing machine, and that's it. Because he had no water, and that was they were torturing him. That was it. Um, she felt incredibly guilty after the meeting was dismissed, wanting to be alone. However, Whirlpool insisted on giving her an aquatic lesson. After learning nothing from it, she headed out to the island that looked like a dragon skeleton and met Riptide there. He gave her a proper lesson in which she learned basic aquatic, and she returned to the palace. While swimming through the tunnel, a dragon attacked her, forcing a hood over her head so that she could not see. She managed to fight off her attacker, but did not see who it was. Riptide showed up and asked if she was okay. In aquatic, she said all right and headed in to alert her mother. Queen Coral was reading to a bored anemone of how she chose Gil to be her husband. Tsunami informed her that someone attacked her, and Coral became concerned about her eggs. She gathered her council, and they rushed to the deep palace. They headed inside to the hatchery. Tsunami saw the statue of Orca, which she knew was her dead sister. She heard Coral's roar of fury and saw the limp body of the blue hatchling. Coral exited the hatchery, and Tsunami picked up the last egg, believing and swearing to protect it. Queen Coral was attacking the failed Dragonette Care Council member Tortoise. After killing her, she spotted Tsunami with the egg. She
killed
yeah.
her?
She beckoned her to
Okay.
hand it over, but Tsunami refused and flashed her stripes, saying, "I will protect," and pointing to the egg. Coral headed to the surface with Anemone and Tsunami, and they argued about the egg. Coral eventually gave in, and Tsunami got a harness for the egg, but it did not fit. Anemone touched it, and it shrank the egg and her size.
A harness for the egg? Wait, who shrunk? Who shrunk?
Anemone touched it, and it shrank to the egg and her size.
Oh,
So it was too big.
so it's like a magic thing that like shrinks to her.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought she shrunk into like a tiny dragon
No,
or something.
that is not what happened.
Okay.
Floofy. Anyway, Tsunami swam back to the summer palace in a storm, worried about her friends. She got lost, but eventually found Riptide, who showed her the way. She met up with her friends in the caves and found that someone had chained up Clay. She convinced some guards to hand over the key to unlocking him, and they flew into a dry cave. Tsunami gave Sunny the egg to keep it warm with Sunny's warm body heat that all sandwings possess. The dragonettes awoke to find Princess Blister standing over them, and Coral yelling angrily about her egg. Tsunami and the dragonettes came to breakfast after Blister convinced Coral they should come. Tsunami loudly announced that Lagoon and Shark disobeyed Coral, getting them locked in the underwater dungeon. They then talked about Kestrel, who Tsunami had forgotten to mention to her friends about. In the commotion, Blister backed Tsunami up by saying it could be shocking seeing the dead body of someone you knew. Then she said, especially when you've wanted to slash your throat yourself once or twice in your lifetime, right, Tsunami?
Totally.
Tsunami wondered how Blister knew Kestrel's throat was slashed when only a stabbing was mentioned. Starflight also caught Blister's mistake. Blister then wanted to see their secret weapon, and Tsunami followed them. Whirlpool took a strand of pearls and told Anemone to make it crawl across the room. On her second try, she obeyed, and Tsunami realized she was an animus, which is like a drag.
The magic thingy.
You can animate things. It's like enchant stuff. It's really cool.
So she just discovered that like right now?
Well, Anemone already had it, but that's when Tsunami discovered it.
She discovered that
Anemone had animus magic.
Anemone had it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I remember telling you yesterday whenever we filmed the previous video that the animus magic makes the dragon lose a piece of their soul every time, and that's why Anemone was afraid
So
to use
it's
it.
not good.
Yeah, she doesn't like using it. Anyway. Blister was asking to see the secret weapon, and the secret weapon is an anemone. Blister and Coral went off to talk privately, and Anemone made the pearls fly off the edge, causing Whirlpool to follow. Anemone explained that every time an animus used their powers, they lost a bit of themselves, and she was scared for that to happen. Blister and Coral finished conversing, but they then heard a noise from the canopy. Blister flew up to see what the noise was and grabbed the dragon webs out of the canopy, leaving a hole. Coral was still angry at Webs, and she attacked him, throwing him off the edge. Tsunami found herself trying to save him, and Clay helped. They land on the library level and the other dragonets follow. Coral questioned why she would save him, and she lied, saying that they could use him for information about the Talons of Peace. Webbs woke, and Coral forced him to explain how he got into the hatchery. He said he drugged the guards with help from his wife. Queen Coral cruelly said that she put his wife in battle, and too bad that the first battle was such a bloodbath. Coral then wanted information about the Talons of Peace. Tsunami was upset that Coral did not seem to care that a dragonet's life was ruined. Starflight then said that Webb saved her life by stealing her egg because she would have been murdered as well. Urchin then came and announced that they found a dragon outside of the palace. They brought him in, and it was Riptide. Tsunami admitted she had been taking aquatic lessons from Riptide and not Whirlpool. Coral suspected he was working for the Talons of Peace, and Tsunami claimed that it was a lie. Blister cut in and said that Riptide and Webbs were working together to kill the heirs to the throne and use Tsunami as a bargaining chip. Coral was excited by this idea and believed it. Starflight then explained that it would not work because the murders started 2 years before they stole Tsunami's egg, and Webbs could not have flown there and back whenever he wanted to kill a dragonet. Coral and Tsunami made a deal. She would let Riptide go if she caught the murderer. Tsunami realized that Blister wanted Webbs dead, but for unknown reasons. Okay, breathe. That's the end of the part. I am taking a break to breathe. Yes.
Okay, so Riptide is not a nice guy then.
No, he is.
Oh, well then I'm confused about how that last part went down.
But
they suspected him of working for the Talons of Peace.
The Talons of Peace are not great people.
Okay, so.
But they suspected him, but it's just because, they unfairly don't like him, just because his father is Webbs.
Yeah. Oh, so it's a Bramble Star situation.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Got it.
Oh, I didn't even remember that. I forgot about everyone hating Bramble Star. I keep forgetting that. I just think that because Bramble Star is so loved, that he is, that I keep forgetting that Tiger Star was his father, and every time that I remember that, I also remember that Firestar was his mentor, and that he was skeptical, and also that Bramble Pa followed Firestar to the Tulip place where he was staring at his former house, and then Firestar quickly covered it up. Yeah, that was funny. Great. Okay. Part 3, Out of the Egg. Tsunami is in the pitch black hatchery. She hears a scraping noise and notices Orca's statue moving. The statue attacks her and cuts one of her gills. It then steps on her and breaks some of her ribs. Tsunami fights back and yanks out its eyes, which does not affect it. She grabs the narwhal spear while it looks for its eyes. The statue attempts... yeah. The statue attempts to walk over her to the egg as Tsunami realizes that an animus enchanted the statue. While she was thinking, the statue leaps at her and she stabs the spear into its chest. She notices that it crumbles a bit and gets the idea to trap it. She lodges the spear into the statue's mouth and jams the other end into a crevice. The statue attempts to escape, but Tsunami grabs the egg just as it breaks open. A little green head with dark green eyes blinks at Tsunami and she says hello in aquatic. She swims over to the door and opens it. The statue freezes. Tsunami has a theory of who enchanted it, and she believes it was Orca.
Orca's dead.
Yeah, her dead older sister.
Yeah, but she's dead. So how's that possible? Did she do it before she died?
Well,
she died as a baby.
Earlier in the book, Starflight said that the murders started happening 2 years before Webb stole Tsunami's egg. So that had to have been before Orca died.
So Orca did hatch, though, then.
She was already alive before she enchanted.
So this is Orca like a daughter slash...
Yeah, she's a daughter of Coral, and so is Anemone, and so is Tsunami.
I thought all of her kids died like before they hatched.
Yeah, And that was like right before tsunami, like 2 years before tsunami is when all of the murders started happening of the uh heirs.
Okay, but Orca was
Yeah,
already
Orca was the
alive
firstborn.
for a little bit.
Hmm.
Okay, so what was enchanted by Orca?
That statue.
Okay.
And I can keep explaining, but I have to like keep reading because there's a lot to
Yes.
explain.
Okay. Go.
All right.
Go. Go. Go.
Later, Tsunami names the newly hatched dragon Auklet. Auklet. Yeah. Tsunami questions Starflight of why he's favoring Blister all of a sudden, and he does not answer. Coral, Anemone, and Blister arrive and say Orca's statue was destroyed. Tsunami still believes that Shark attacked her in the tunnel. Clay says that they are leaving, but Blister claims that she wants the Dragonets to choose her as the Sandwing Queen. She nearly says the Nightwings want her, but she corrects herself. Blister almost says to Coral that Tsunami killed Gil, but Starflight says that Blister killed Kestrel and does not care about her daughters at all. Coral, unsure of who to believe, scoops up Auklet and Anemone and flies away after she orders the guards to take the Dragonets. The Dragonets are thrown in prison. The prisons are islands with water flowing from the ceiling around them. In the water are electric eels that the prisoners are afraid of getting shocked by. Starflight, aware of
Oh
this,
yeah.
pulls Tsunami back from the waterfall and explains the eels to the group. Sunny says that she hears wing beats and Glory spots someone. It turns out to be an unharnessed anemone, and for Tsunami, Anemone enchants a spear to find her attacker. It turns out to be Whirlpool. He is impressed and admits that he wanted Tsunami dead so he can marry Anemone. Then he muses that he can marry Auklet and inform Blister of this development of Anemone's powers. Anemone swings the spear across Whirlpool's head and he falls into the moat. Anemone did not mean to do it, but she was just angry. The eels give out a full shock that killed him.
So much is happening.
Yeah. Tsunami takes a chance and jumps through the waterfall. Then she opens the cage and frees them. She asks Anemone to come with them, but she refuses. Sunny hears the wing beats again, and a firebomb is dropped through the canopy. Tsunami then frees Riptide and Webs.
Wait. Oh my goodness. So much.
So
happened.
much. That was a lot.
Was that the end of part 3
No.
right there? Or you...
Uh,
okay. Still going.
Crocodile, a Mudwing, claims that she followed Webs to the palace. She is brought in attack with her from Burns' alliance. Glory shoots venom into her eyes, and Crocodile is presumed dead. Tsunami spots her mother and Anemone, who are throwing the scrolls into the water to keep them from burning. Riptide joins in the defense of the palace. The Dragonets escape the palace, but as they do, Blister stabs Webs with her tail. It misses his heart, but still poisons him. Tsunami has an idea to go to the Rainwings. The novel ends with her thought, "So the kingdom of the sea wasn't my home after all. I wonder if anywhere ever will be." Epilogue.
So she like this. Does she like know that she's not the princess or whatever of whatever they
Tsunami
were?
is the princess.
I thought she wasn't like. I thought the princess had to be part of the sea wings.
Well, she is a Sea Wing, but she doesn't have to be part of the Sea Wing Kingdom. She learned basic aquatic from Riptide, and because he was like, you know, uh, you can't be a real Sea Wing if you don't know our language.
Yeah.
And then she convinced him, and then Coral was like, "Oh my gosh, it's my lost daughter," and then Riptide was like, "Oh, okay, I get it."
I thought like she had to be part of that group, but she
Nope.
doesn't. So okay. She can like be the princess of the Sea Wings without being part of the Sea
Yeah,
Wings.
it's just that she has to be a part of the Sea Wings if she wants to be a queen, you know. But
Okay. Yeah.
Anemone and Auklet are part of the Sea Wings for now.
And they like might be the queen.
They have
Eventually.
chances, yeah. So anyway,
Okay.
something that wasn't explained in here very well was that Orca challenged Coral for the throne, and then um,
Her mom? Why would she do that?
yeah, because that is how you get the throne. It's like someone has to challenge the queen, whether it be her daughter or not. Um,
I thought you just like waited for them to
no,
die. Okay.
if you wait for them to die,
How long do these dragons live? Do they live forever?
they live a pretty long time.
If they don't like die in an accident or in a battle or something, do they live a long time?
Yeah, they do live a long time. I don't know their exact lifespan, or exact average lifespan, but um, like the maximum that anyone has ever a dragon has ever lived. But I do know that they can be pretty old, like Grander and Handsome. That's his name. That's the name of Ray.
Handsome.
Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, those will previews of characters from the next book. Um, but yeah, those are pretty old dragons. Um,
But we don't actually know how many years.
yeah, you don't know how many years old they are. But the dragonettes of Destiny.
Okay, so why would she challenge her then?
Because she wanted to be
Just because
queen.
she wants to be queen, like right
Yeah.
now?
So she waited until she knew everything, or she thought she knew everything, and then she challenged, like she thought she was powerful enough, she thought she knew everything, and so she challenged the queen, and she lost.
To
Yeah,
fight?
she had to fight to the death. Yeah,
Oh. Did she fight to
yeah,
the
and
death?
she died. Orca died.
So her mom killed
Yeah.
her. She wasn't even part of like the egg stealing and all that.
No.
She just died because she challenged her mom.
Yeah, and
That's a terrible plan. Why would you challenge your own mom?
I don't
Somebody's gonna
know.
die.
That's what they have to do, you know. And so
That would
if you
suck.
end up winning and your mom dies, then you get to be queen.
Yeah, but your mom's
Yeah,
dead.
I know.
Oh my goodness. Okay. That I think I'd just stick with being princess forever. Like that's too much stress.
Yeah.
Anyway, do I need to know the epilogue or whatever it's called?
Yeah, that's pretty important. But I am gonna keep telling you stuff. And one of the thing that Orca said before she died was, at least you'll be queen. Maybe you'll be queen forever, and or at least you'll be queen forever, or something like that. And Cora was so confused by that.
Okay, so what was it that Orca like enchanted
It
or
was a
whatever?
statue.
And the statue does what? Like
Um,
what did she enchant it with?
she's an animus dragon, okay? And Tsunami figured out that animus magic runs in the family.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw this out there, and it could be completely wrong, but did Orca enchant this statue to like steal all the eggs?
It didn't steal them; it killed them. But yes, she did enchant the
Ah!
statue to kill all the eggs, so that, and she did that so that none of her kids would ever
I get it.
like,
So like she would
yeah,
be queen
she would
forever.
be queen forever. But then when she died challenging her mother, it was like her mother would be queen forever.
So Orca is evil.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
And she enchanted it so that whenever uh like no one was in the room, no one was there to witness anything, then it would strike. But and it only targets the heirs to the throne. And that's why whenever Queen Coral was in there, it didn't attack.
Yeah. That makes
Yeah.
sense. That's craziness.
Yeah, and that's part of what losing a bit of themselves is like.
Yeah, I'd say she lost a whole
Yeah.
hump.
It was probably for like the secret weapon for the war or whatever, because like when the war has lasted 20 years, the dragonets will come, and um it was between 18 and 20 years, because the first battle was 18 years from that moment, and then whenever Queen Oasis, that was her name from the four, Queen Oasis was former Sandwing Queen. Whenever Queen Oasis died, um that was 20 years. So it was between 18 and 20 years that the battle happened. So they might have a little bit of time to decide what the Sandwing Queen is going to be. Yeah. Um what was I talking about?
I don't know. The epilogue eventually.
Uh-huh. Um
But we were talking about Orca
yeah.
and all her enchanting stuff.
Yeah, losing a bit of her soul. She had to be pretty crazy. Oh yeah, Blister. Um, so and it said, so 6 minus 20 or whatever, that's 14. So and 2 years before Tsunami was born, that is 12. So um, the war was already going on whenever Orca was alive. So Orca probably had was doing a bunch of like weaponry stuff for like the secret weapon thing for Blister, you know, like Anemone's doing right now, and that's probably what drove her insane or drove her mad or whatever was
Mm-hmm.
the making enchanting so many things, you know. So yeah, that was my point. Though I had to explain a lot, doing math, all of
Yeah,
this.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got
Anyway, on to the epilogue. Marosier and Blister are discussing the future of the Dragonettes. Nautilus is called to them, and he tells them his backup plan.
you. Should I know these people or dragons? Should I know?
Marosier and Blister?
I mean, I know
Yeah.
Blister.
Oh, Marosier, he is a Nightwing.
Oh, that's one. That's one name. That sounds like two
Oh,
names.
okay. Well, Marosier, it's like seeing the morrow, the
Yeah, I
tomorrow.
get you. I
Yeah.
get you now. It makes sense.
Um,
But I don't know. I just heard of this too.
he's the
Okay.
one who came up with the prophecy.
He just came up with it, and so now it's true because he
Oh,
said it.
well, he foresaw the future, and that was the prophecy
Okay,
that he
he's like,
foretold.
oh, because Maro's here. He
Yeah.
sees. Okay.
And
Duh.
like,
Okay.
yeah, the Nightwing Dragonettes, or dragons, Nightwing dragons. I forgot to tell you this, but sometimes they have powers like they can read minds or see the future and
And
stuff like
this
this.
what group? What group
Nightwings.
is this? Oh my god, that's so
Yeah,
epic.
they're obviously the best, and all of the other groups are always mad at the
I
Nightwings
mean,
because they're always like, the
killing it.
Nightwings are
They're
like,
just top
we
of
are
the.
superior.
Well, I mean, if you're superior, you are.
Yeah,
What can
and they
you
just
say?
rub it in the other dragons' faces all the time, and that's why everyone hates them. But it's true. The Nightwings are the
I
best.
mean, the sea wings could just stay underwater
Hmm.
forever, and they're superior of the
Hmm.
underwater, so night wings can't get to them there.
Yeah,
I mean, if you really hate the night wings, just stay underwater forever, then you don't have to do
yeah.
it.
But there's a war going on, so they have to do it above ground, or above land.
that's, that's see, if it was me, I would say, hey, there's a war going on above land. Why don't we just stay down here and not get in it involved?
Yeah, I know. I was that's so smart. Yeah,
Right?
but Blister
Like,
specifically
anyway,
went to the Sea Wings and offered them stuff, I think, to like be her ally.
stuff like
I
what?
don't, I don't know. I was thinking like
Some
land
pearls.
or
Land? They don't need
yeah,
land. They're
I know.
underwater. They have like
But
the whole
I
ocean.
I don't think she offered them any land. I do think that she manipulated Coral into just like being her ally, and it was like evident throughout this whole book that that's what Blister was doing, was that she was so clever that she manipulated Coral into doing what she wanted. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so sorry. I asked the question of who that was, but like I get it
Hmm.
now.
Anyway, Maro's here.
Yes, Mara
He
sees.
foretold the
She sees
prophecy of the
things.
Dragonettes, and he is like, um, he's. I don't know if he's a part of the Talons of Peace, but he definitely feels like the leader, even though Nautilus is actually the leader, and this is so confusing. But yeah, um,
And Nautilus is a Nightwing.
Nautilus is a Sea Wing.
Okay, see, it sounds like he was because its name is
Yeah,
Nautilus, and that's
but
like
Nautilus is the leader of the
yo
Talons
ho
of
ho.
Peace, and it feels like it should be Maros here because he foretold the prophecy.
Oh, the Towns of Peace. That's like a whole
Yeah.
separate thing. Okay, got it. I was like thinking you were talking about Nightwing's
Oh
leader.
no.
Okay.
Marosier is a Nightwing. Nautilus is a Sea Wing, who is the leader of the Talons of Peace. And the Marosier is kind of like the leader of the Talons of Peace, but he's not.
I'm asking too many questions. This is gonna be very long
It's
episode.
yeah, and he just like took charge and like of the Talons of Peace, and he's like the head, but he's not. Like the actual leader is Nautilus, and it's so confusing for me. But yeah, so Marosier is like the separate entity. Um, dragon, yes. Um, and uh, most of the Dragonettes are kind of scared of him because he's scary. Um, yeah, and specifically Starflight's for some reason, even though Starflight's a Nightwing. But I think that's why, because he doesn't have any of the special
Wait.
powers.
Okay, I was just about to ask. Does he
Yeah,
have any like
Starflight doesn't have any of those powers, and
yet?
yes,
I just assume that he eventually will have some.
well, he encountered a Dragonette that was like his same age, And then that dragonet had powers for seeing the future.
That means nothing. That means nothing. He's gonna be like a little bit older,
And
like
then he met.
I assume a couple
Oh wait,
books
no,
from
never
now.
mind.
I'm making a prediction. He's gonna be a couple books from now. You know, he'll get a little bit older. Something dramatic is happening. He's got a lot of emotions going on, and then kablam! He has this epic power that saves everyone. That's my prediction.
No.
He's gonna
But
have a
in two
power. I just
books,
know it.
there's something big that happens because that's whenever Starflight is his point of view.
In what book?
2 books from now.
So, have you read
Yeah,
that one yet?
I'm on the
are you
5th book,
So, but you're
the
talking about
4th one,
book
and we're
4.
on book 2. This is what.
So you know, and it wasn't him getting powers.
No,
Like I
no,
predict.
but it is a big thing.
Okay, well when that does happen, just call me Mara Seer because that's me.
Okay. I have read a bunch of predictable things like that.
I feel like that's gonna happen because he's like a main character that doesn't have powers. No, 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 no. I mean, he maybe right now he doesn't, but it's gonna come,
A lot
and
of
it's gonna
the
be
like
epic.
main characters were like feeling neglected and all of this stuff, and Glory specifically was like everyone told.
She's the one that
Yeah,
got switched.
yeah, she was. Yeah,
And
she was the replacement for the Skywing, and she's not even in the prophecy. And everyone told her she's useless and lazy, like her whole life. And
well, is she useless
no,
and lazy? Okay.
just because she's
Well
a
then,
Rainwing, and that's all Rainwings are rumored to be. But
oh,
anyway,
I see.
we're gonna talk more about that next book.
Okay, okay, okay. Keep going with the epilogue. How many? You haven't
I
made it very
barely
far.
started it. It was
Okay,
I didn't even finish the first
let's go.
sentence of the epilogue
I'm
because
sorry.
you were like,
I'm sorry.
Marosier, who's that?
I'm sorry. It's me, actually. Spoiler, it's me. I'm Mara.
Okay. Marosier and Blister are discussing the future of the Dragonettes. Nautilus, that's the leader of the Talons of Peace, is called to them, and he tells them of his backup plan, which was talked about in the prologue. Yeah. By Webbs. That was Webbs' point of view, and he was like,
Webbs is
"Well,
dead.
what's the backup plan?" No, Webbs isn't dead.
He got zapped.
No, that was Whirlpool that got zapped.
Oh, okay.
Webbs is still alive, but he did get stabbed with a sandwing tail.
Oh yeah,
It missed his heart. Yes.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he's still alive, but been poisoned and in pain.
Okay, finish
Anyway,
it. Finish
okay.
it. I'm sorry.
He has a group of false dragonettes or alternate dragonettes of destiny. He made up of the offspring of his fellow Talons. When discussing this plan, Marosier suggests that they can combine the best options from each group. Blister demands that Tsunami and Starflight be deposed for the new dragonettes. Marosier agrees and says that they may be able to keep Clay. He also says that he has already hired an assassin. Wow.
An assassin for who?
It doesn't say. But I do know. I know this.
Don't tell me. Next.
I believe that's talked about in the next book. So yeah.
Okay. Was that the end of the
Yeah,
episode?
that is the end of the book.
Alrighty. I feel like I've learned so much.
It's been an
so
hour.
much things happen. Yeah, I mean, I am fully caught up on everything now.
Yeah.
I know what is going down in Dragonland.
That's about the time I figured it out too. 2 books. That's all it is.
Although I feel like I don't know all the groups all that well. Like I know the Sea Wings and the Night Wings, and sort of kind of the Rain Wings, but that's about it.
There's also Mud Wings and Sand Wings, and
Mud and Sand. That's the same thing. Basically.
oh, I thought I had my book right next to me, but I don't. So I'm gonna go off of my mind. That's never a good sign. Night Wings, Sea Wings, Rain Wings. Then there's the Ice Wings, the Sand Wings.
Tell me about the Ice Wings. That sounds.
Oh yeah, Queen Glacier is the queen of the Rain Wings, or I mean Ice Wings, and she's allied with Blaze.
So are they? I'm like picturing a icy blue dragon with like little icicles hanging off their wings. Am I in the ballpark?
Yes. Like
awesome.
Also they're rough.
Do they have powers?
Yeah, they can breathe ice and they can substand sub-zero temperatures.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And it's like freezing death.
Other dragons cannot
breathe ice.
I mean, yeah, but I know, but unless it's Spyro. But other dragons can't like go to the Arctic and survive like they would freeze.
Yeah, none of them.
So it's similar to the sea wings where they like have their own little private place they can go and no other dragons can get there.
Yeah, kind of.
The ice ones can go to like the
Mhm.
Arctic and be fine and nobody else can
Yeah.
get there. Just like the sea wings.
And
So the sand wing, can they like burrow in sand?
um, probably. Yeah, they live in the desert, so they kind of have their separate place too. It's like super hot. But um, the Nightwings did live in super hot place. They lived under a volcano, so or in a volcano.
So what can the sand wings do? Do they just like vomit out sand?
No, um, I believe they can breathe fire just like the Skywings and the Nightwings. But oh, and the Mudwings can also breathe fire with like certain.
Just picturing them breathing mud.
No, no, that's they don't breathe what their name is. Like the sea
Okay.
wings don't breathe sea for salt water.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but the mudwings can breathe fire if they're warm enough. Like if they find their perfect warmth and it's like perfect temperatures. Like yeah.
So yeah.
I just wanted to tell you more about the dragons. Um, Sandwings. Oh yeah, they have venomous tails.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Um,
Oh, because like scorpions
yeah,
live in the desert.
and
That
they
makes
can like
perfect sense.
poise their tail like a scorpion. Like a lot of them do that. Um, and there's like a barb on the end, and Sunny
Mhm.
doesn't have that. She's a sandwing.
I mean, a lot of good that does if you're
Yeah.
frozen to death.
So Sunny doesn't have that, and she's a sandwing, and so like all of her friends look at her, and she's like, "Oh, little harmless, silly little friend." And yeah, and they never listen to her great ideas, and that's what it's talking about in the book I'm reading right now with Sunny, who's the fifth
Is
one.
she part of like the little?
Prophecy. Yeah,
Yeah.
the sandwich. Hidden alone from
So all the
rival.
ones that are in the prophecy, do they have like something wrong with them?
No, Clay doesn't. He
Mud.
yeah,
Is he mud?
he's the Mudwing, and
I knew
he
this
had a
because of
blood
his
red
hair.
egg, which means he's fireproof. He has fireproof scales, and that's so cool.
That is
Yeah,
so cool. That's very helpful if you're a
hmm
dragon.
yeah, he's the only one that has like
But
something
the
that's
ice
not.
wings could probably get him.
Yeah. Oh, and Tsunami. I think Tsunami doesn't either. But Glory
She
Starfleet.
has fireproof something.
No, Tsunami is the princess. That's what we were talking about all throughout this book.
Yeah, I mean I know who she is, but like, what's her power? Does she
She
not have
doesn't
any?
have any special powers, but
That's
uh,
sad.
she is the princess of the Sea Wings, so that's cool. Um, yeah,
So like, do you get the perspective of all of these
yeah.
all the main
For
like?
this book,
There's six of them. The prophecy ones.
five.
There's five. Okay, so you get like all of their
Yeah.
perspectives.
In the first book, it was Clay. Second is Tsunami. Third is Glory. Fourth is Starflight, and fifth is Sunny, which I'm reading about right now.
I feel like comparing it to Warriors, that's a very good way to set up those books because in Warriors, I always hated that we never got to like explore any of the other clans. Really, it was always ThunderClan the
Yeah,
main one.
I wanted to read about you know, Gray Stripe and Ravenpaw in the first series. Like, I
Yeah.
really wanted to experience the terror of Ravenpaw and not in Firestar's perspective.
Yeah.
Because then it would have been, like, so much scarier if we were in Ravenpaw's point of view.
Does he have like a standalone book?
Yeah, he has Ravenpaw's path.
Oh, well, you should probably read
I
that. That's
definitely
probably
want
what.
to, yes.
Um, but I think because they've set it up where like these like five from all the separate areas have to come together and they're like training together, but they also have their struggles with each of their little groups. Like it makes it to where you get to like see all of the different groups, which is cool because they didn't do that really in Warriors. It was always ThunderClan for the most
Yeah.
part. That's
Mhm.
pretty cool. I like it. So
Yeah, but with this, they can fly and they have a lot, they can travel a lot more.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
better. Well,
There's
I don't know.
not a lot you can do with cats. With dragons,
Yeah, with
yeah,
dragons,
it's a
it's
lot
kind
more
of like
plausible
endless
that they have
possibilities.
powers.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Have you thought about reading the Bears one?
Seekers?
Yeah, Seekers.
No, I have not. I thought about reading Survivors.
It just seems like similar to the cats thing. The dragon one is
There's
definitely
also
like more
Survivors as the
appealing just
dogs,
because it has like
and
yeah.
yeah.
I think Seekers is like the first one that they did before
Oh,
Warriors.
cool.
So I was just kind of curious about it for that reason, but I don't see how you could do much with bears. But like maybe you
Yeah,
can.
it's
I don't
probably the
know.
same with cats and dogs.
Yeah, like all of those seem similar, but like with dragons, it's like a whole new freaking world.
There's also
So
bunnies, and then there's the owls of
they
Cthulhu.
have a bunny
Yeah,
one.
I
Oh, the Owls of Cool isn't by Aaron
yeah.
Hunter.
They don't have a. Aaron Hunter doesn't have a bunny one. I was talking about just like all of the ones that are about like animals living in colonies and things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I read Owls of Cool, loved it, 10 out of 10.
Mhm, mhm. I haven't read it, but I watched the
I
first
don't if
part of
there's
the
I think
movie.
I don't think there's as many like books as there is like warrior books. I think there's just like 3. And I don't know if I read them all, but I definitely liked the books. I at least read the first book and it was great. And I think I only read it to like get my AR goal, but I really liked it. And so when
Okay.
the movie came out, I was like excited. I might have read all 3 of them. I don't really remember, but you know, or all however many. There could be like 20 out there, but I don't know about them. Anyway, we need to end this now.
I don't want to. I want to keep talking about.
But
Yeah,
it's like an hour
I
long
know.
already.
Ugh, ugh. Ugh. Okay. Shall we save it for the next episode?
Next
Yeah.
episode,
Okay.
yes.
The warriors beneath the moon are calling, and it's time for us to go. Goodbye.
Bye.